Okay, so I finished the part of the hat that I was working on from my double crochet little lesson that I did, which again, these are all double crochets. Now I've gotten to, you can see my seam up the back, gotten to this, which is where I joined the rows, which is called a slip stitch, which is something I haven't really gone over, but like I finished this row, for instance, and I went ahead, and you're supposed to normally go through the third row of the chain, but I just like how it looks better if you go in this first stitch. So you go in the first stitch, yarn over, and pull through, but instead of yarning over again, you also pull through this other stitch that you just made. And that's how you join the row. Now I went ahead and picked up back here because I'm going to chain just one, which normally I'll be chaining a lot more than that, depending on the circumstances. But I figured it was a good demonstration, and then I'm going to be doing single crochets for several rows on the bottom of this hat. So in order to chain, I've got my one loop over my crochet hook, and again, this is my H crochet hook, number 8, 5mm. I'm using worsted weight yarn. Working on a hat, these upper stitches are all double crochets. And you've got your V's down the top of the double crochet. Okay, so in order to chain, you're going to yarn over, which is again when you put the crochet hook under your working yarn to make another loop on the crochet hook. And then you're going to pull through this stitch you just made. And this is where I had mentioned that this pattern across the top looks like chains, because that right there is a chain. So that's where those come from, that V style. Now for this row and the next couple of rows on this project, I'm going to be doing single crochets, sorry, which is, like I said, these are double crochets. So a single crochet is going to be smaller than this. So for that, you're not going to start with a yarn over like you do for the double crochets. For single crochets, you don't do that. But you see my first stitch in this particular pattern, it calls to go into the first stitch that you joined with for your first stitch of the row. So I'm going to go through this stitch, through both loops. Then I'm going to yarn over my working yarn and hook it with my crochet hook and pull it back out. Now, unlike the slip stitch, I just pulled this into my other loop. But for a single crochet, you're going to yarn over and then pull through both loops. And then you're going to move on to the next one. So in through the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. 2 loops on the crochet hook, yarn over, pull through both. And you're going to continue that way all the way around, or however much it would call for in your particular pattern. And I lost my loop there. This is a new hook that I got from CJ and Nicole for Christmas, so it's a little bit slippery still. But so these are single crochets. They're fairly small. They do add a little bit of a different look once they're all completed and together. But this is what they look like, at least initially. But you can see you still got your stitch for the next row, and you still got your V's across the top. But they definitely look a lot different. Okay, so that is pretty much all there is to a single crochet. I can go ahead and show you a half double crochet, which is not for this particular pattern, but just kind of to show you how to do it. Again, you've got your loop already through, or your slip knot, whatever the case is, depending on if you're starting a project or if you're already in the project. Now for a half double crochet, you're obviously, by the name, you're going to start like a regular double crochet. So you are going to yarn over for a half double crochet. So you're going to get your 2 loops, and you're going to go through your stitch, or through the back half of the stitch, or whatever the pattern is going to call for. Yarn over again, and pull through the stitch. Now you've got your 3 loops like you do with your double crochet. You're going to yarn over again, and pull through all 3. So yarn over, through the stitch, yarn over, back through the stitch, 3 loops on the crochet hook, and yarn over and pull through all 3. So those are half double crochets. But since this one calls for just single crochets, I'm going to pull my hook off and keep track of how many how many stitches I'm pulling back out here. So there, I just pulled back out to my single crochet and put the hook back in, which is how you correct yourself if you ever make a mistake too. But that's all there really is to a single crochet. I could show more on a chain later, since that was kind of a limited experience with the chain. But they're not terribly difficult. It's a chain is your most basic portion of crocheting. But that's all I will do for now. If I get any specific requests on something to show, I'd be more than happy to do it as long as I know how to. I myself am going to look into treble crochets so that I can show others and know for my own information. But if you have any questions, just let me know.